Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time that might be for you. My name is Celso Battaglia, and I will be teaching this course, Introduction to Astronomy at Evergreen Valley College. This is an online course, and the point of this tape is just to give you a brief orientation of what are the requirements, the required assessments that must be completed in order to get points in this course, and of course to pass the course, and and where they are. So I'm not going to be going over any subject related to astronomy. At least is not my intent right now. And this might take 20 minutes or less. So let's go through. So what you have here is how the course looks like once you open as a student, um, and access to the course you can create with your username. Username is given by the first two letters of your first name, first two letters of your last name, and the last four digits of your student ID number. It's not social security number, it's ID number. And the password, unless they change, is still student one, and then you have to change it. Um, but in case you cannot access properly, just send a communication to me, and then we'll figure something out. But supposedly you open the course and that's what you see. And there are three links to important subjects. I think you're going to be using none of them, to tell the truth. Most of the students look in the right hand side, and all the assessments, all the required material that you have to work is going to be listed there in links, and you just click on the links and you are pretty much good to go. So you have your to-do list that you have to be attended. Also, calendar is a cool thing and a cool feature in Canvas. So once you click on it, it gives you where and when all the assessments are supposed to close. So I have a mandatory orientation that you have to do something, and I tell you what it is. The self-tests are, most of them, closing on Mondays. So in fact, most of my assessments will be closing on Mondays, so that you have always the weekend to do less work, although I don't recommend, especially in discussion, and I will tell you why. But midterms are usually given, um, let's say for October. See October, you have closings on Mondays, but midterms I'm setting them on Wednesday, although they can be done online, and you have the entire Wednesday to do at home or in your computer at any place, as long as you are alone and you have Google Chrome to access, and I will talk about it. But most of the assessments are closing up on yes, in November. All of them are closing on Monday except for midterms. Okay, so let's take a look at the course quickly, and let me quickly show you the syllabus. So if you click this button over here, or if you click syllabus right there, it's gonna take you to the syllabus. Uh, the first is what the course is all about. We are not going to be studying astrology. I have no idea what astrology is. Don't call me astrologer, because I'm not. And this is more like astronomy with a blend of astrophysics, and this is modern science, if you will. There will be a little bit of observations, and I will try to get you to look up to the skies. And there is a software, Stellarium, that I will be using primarily to collect extra credits. But the course is going to be done primarily in reading and submitting assessments. And it divides broadly in three main parts. One is astronomy in our solar system, There is another one, astronomy of the stars, and how stars are formed, how they evolve, and how they die, and what are the major contributions of a star to our universe. So, and that is one of the most fascinating parts of this course, at least in my humble opinion, because I mean, looking around the place you are right now, everything there except water, maybe because of the hydrogen in there, but everything around you see, including your body, came from stars that no longer exist. So, understanding and studying stellar evolution is the same thing as understanding and having overall glimpse on how the material, the stuff that make up what you are and what your environment is, came to be what it is. So stars, different types of stars, they contribute with different types of elements and atoms. And after millions and millions of, in fact, more than millions of years, but maybe hundreds of millions of years or billions of years, then we have a system that is our solar system that is able to create a circumstellar disk material around that is good enough to create a nice tiny little planet called Earth that has water and that facilitates the chemical reactions that give rise to life. And here we are, you know, in this nonsensic discussion. I should be going to the orientation, so let me go back here. Office hours, Monday and Wednesday face to face, 2 to 5, but I do have Zoom us. If you look in the left hand side right here, see this link right here, Zoom. So if you click on this link, it's going to take you to my, we'll see, because the course is not opening yet, I cannot do that. But beginning tomorrow, you'll be able to. So let's go back there. This Zoom.us allows you to communicate with me on office hours, and that's going to be on Thursdays at 11 a.m. There you go. So I will open the chat room and you can jump in and you can ask me questions. But let's say you're working at 11 and you don't want to jump in and ask me questions, but you want to know my opinion or my explanation of a given subject. What you can do, you can email me and ask me to go over some particular subject and show simulations and whatnot, and I will be happy to do that. Please make my office hours worth of being called office hours. I don't want to stay staring at the walls doing nothing. It's pretty boring. Sometimes I have office hours. I have semesters in which I get a lot of students that happen to be available at that time, and they just jump in, and then we start chatting about astronomy things, and it's very exciting. So if Thursday, 11 o'clock, if you are available, just jump in. I will be in the room, either in my office or in one of the physics lab. So if you happen to be at Evergreen at that time, I will let you know which lab exactly. Then you can join me, and then we can have a Zoom chat online and face to face kind of a conversation. Student learning outcomes, please read it. So you're going to be assessed based on these core subjects. These are the content we are going to go through. As you can see, there is nothing related to astrology. Although astrology is an exciting subject that I like to discuss and get your opinion, especially I want students to determine sometimes if they think astrology is scientific just because there is numbers and computers involved, or if astrology is more like a religion or is a pseudoscience, what exactly astrology is. The main point is astrology was created in different cultures. The one we know here in the Occident came from Mesopotamia, about, developed 1,000 years before our time, and then it got a peak of evolvement in 500 BC, and what if you go and talk to an astrologer, he or she will talk about things or sky patterns, especially those related to the sun, that were exactly what they were 500 BC. So in that sense, astrology really is not a science, but is more as you believe or not, right? So in science, you cannot believe on things. You test things. That's one of the, in fact, part of the course we are going to go through. Good news! You don't have to put any money to take this course. Besides, tuitions you already pay, but the book is free. You can download, and you're not gonna have the feds knocking your door because it's open source. And the book is quite good, but it's very extensive. So I had to cut some sections, and they are tailored to what I teach in the course. So I think you'll be able to read it. The chapters are not heavy, and the self-test will help you to fix some of these concepts. But you can have a print copy of it, and you can do that. Important notes, so make sure you read that. Important here is if you need any special accommodation, please send me the forms before September, I think 13, I think. Yeah, is a Friday. No, September 9, no later than September 9, which is a Monday. So it's Monday next week. So make sure you give the forms to me because assessments will start coming and I need to know what type of accommodation you need. So this is really important. There is no copying or cheating or buddy work in this course. So although you can do midterms at home, you cannot open book. I allow 2 pages of notes. You can take them to your exam room. You can have to show to the camera that is going to be proctoring you in your computer camera. But that's it. And when you submit discussions, do not, attention, alert, do not copy and paste from sources elsewhere. Wikipedia, Wiki, nothing of that. Do not go to Cornell EDU, ask an astronomer, and copy and paste information and just put it in there because I would drag you. And that is a zero. That is a zero, and I do not discuss that. I want to know what you think because you want to know what I think, right? So you study, you read, you get some understanding, and then you write your opinion about that thing. And that's the whole point of discussions we are going to have. So do not copy and paste. This is an automatic zero in our discussions. Now, attention, if you think, I mean, I know this is a very small population of students in my classroom, but if you think that you might, because you took this class and you thought it was so awesome, right? That you decide now, okay, I want to be an astronomer. I want to be a physicist, which means you have to get a PhD. There's no way. You cannot be a physicist or an astronomer just with a master or a bachelor's. You can do something, but you cannot do research. You cannot follow an academic path. But if you want to follow an academic path and you want to be a physicist or a professional astronomer, if that is in your radar somehow, talk to me because there are supports out there, especially for underrepresented minority groups, and Evergreen is part of this consortium. And I'm happen to be in charge of intermediate and interfacing students, our community college students, with Calbridge and Compare. So take a look at these 2 programs here. They are funded, and this coming academic year, we are selecting 25 scholars. There are going to be probably less than 25. I'm not sure how many of them, but 25 scholars applied, and we are going to select up to 25 scholars to receive this incentive so they can put themselves in a path to astronomy or physics. So if that's your case, talk to me. Uh, and finalizing the syllabus is where uh, all the materials are supposed to be um, submitted. Let's take a look now. So we saw the syllabus, right? So how are you going to be assessed? How are you going to be tested? Let me show you this. You go to the learner modules, and then the content, which basically is one unit. Every 2 weeks or so, I have one unit, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So 5 units. Each unit has a group of assessments and one midterm. Does that make sense? So 5 units, a group of assessments, and one midterm that cover that particular um, unit. And this unit, I happen to organize it by SLOs. So there are 5 or 6 SLOs, and they are kind of blended in those specific units. So let's take a look at Unit 1, which is night sky, and then number 2, which is more about lights and applications. Number 3 is about stars and star formation, and 4, stellar evolution, and number 5 is large scale structure, which means galaxies and quasars and all these fancy things related to the Big Bang, not the Big Bang Theory, the show, but the Big Bang as the big thing that made the universe be what it is. Okay, so the unity number 1 is divided in 1, 2, 3, and 4 self-tests. So basically the self-tests, they are related to one chapter book of the book we are using, which is the open source book. Let's see if I can get the book right here. Yeah, I don't have a link to the book. So let's go to the syllabus. And here's the book. Take a quick show and tell of the book. It's right there. You can view it online. And then you have, it's a book, and you have text, and you have links. I mean, some books out there, they have more investment, and it is true, they have more of the frou-frou media thing and nice links and nice this and that. This book is a little bit, I mean, it has figures, right? It has pictures too, has links to animations and simulations, but um, not as much as some of these. Yeah, see, you have a link here to an animation. It has its pictures, has examples, and has also end of chapter questions. Some of these questions will be in your midterm, of course. So, okay, here's the book. And I was showing you the book because I want to show you the self-test. So self-test number 1, when you click on it, now as a student you can see, let me get out of the student view, so as instructor I can show you. And then these self-tests, they happen to be multiple choice questions, and they are based on the chapter 1. So test 1 is chapter 1, and then you have a second question. So there are 5 questions in there. So how many attempts can you do? I think 2 or 3, I don't remember, and then that's it. Now, all these self-tests, they give you a question, a grade, and towards the middle of semester, I open the old self-test, right? So when we reach the middle of the course, so in fact, as a way to kind of start getting you prepared for the final exam, I open them again. But which means if you fail in the very beginning, you have a chance to get it better. But I recommend you to use the self-test and in conjunction with the book. So you have a question here. Let's say you read the chapter book, right? But when we are being tested on those subjects, I would recommend that you go to the book and you interact with your book content, and and then you can try your best way to get your answers there. Okay, so those are the self tests. Go to modules. And then you have self-test 1, 2, 3, 4 in Unity 1. Now, if you click here in Introduction to Self-Test Quiz, and I recommend you to do that, I placed in here the PDF, the file, the figures related to, you know, to that particular subject. So they are there, and I have a little talk, which is right here, right? And then you click, and you have some video. Morning, everyone. Hope this is being taped. Now, these videos, I generate them every semester. So I always update them. For instance, the video you're seeing here is from my previous semester. So what I do in the first week of class, I will go back and redo these videos. So usually I take my office hours on which is in this case Thursday at 11 o'clock, and I generate these videos. I mean, it takes 20 minutes or so. Sometimes I do early in the week, but I let the old videos available to students who are trying to do as much as possible, and I generate these videos sometimes in the office hours, and which is a nice thing. If you are available, just go there and see the videos like a classroom thing, or not. Oh, I think I lost my class, didn't I? Oh, Spotify, you don't want that now. Okay, sorry about that. Let me go back to the course. Sorry about that. Okay, so we were in the module. So self-tests. So any question with respect to self-test, just let me know. So self-test amounts 30% of your course grade, 30%. So make sure you put some time on it. Now, what also goes on every 2 weeks or so, sometimes 3 weeks, is a discussion. And here's the discussion. Astronomy in the news. So the first discussion that I'm putting is all about dark matter and dark energy, which is a subject we're going to be studying towards the end of semester. I want you guys to start, reading about it. And the way you do, just follow the instruction here. But basically, all the discussions, you have a seed, some team that I give it to you, and then you have to go to either press release or to the web page of Leak Observatory or some cool places and get some release or press release related to that subject. You have to put your opinion on it. Don't copy and paste. This is cheating. I'm going to give you 0 right there. So you have to give the links, and you have to describe what it is, and then you have to give your opinion, what you think it is, because that's when I do my job. I read your post, and then I give some feedback to that. So basically, for instance, this first discussion is due in September 23. And then you now think, oh my goodness, the classes start in now, right? September 3 or so. So I have 20 days to do. This is not going to be in my priority list. Here's the thing. Discussions, as soon as I release them, I recommend you to post something about it, because I will give my input and grade it. And usually my first grade is the lowest possible. So let's say in a scale up to 10, that's the maximum score you can get in a discussion. The first post you do, usually I give you 2 points. It's not a lot. And then you might be all angry. Geez, I did a lot of research and this guy gave me 2 points, because that's the beginning. It's a discussion. Discussion is not a post. It's not an essay that you done the last day before due date. You are submitting your discussion. You're gonna get a 2 points only, and you're gonna be upset. So discussion is a crescendo thing. So ideally, you should read about the opinions and subjects that are being posted by other um, classmates, and my opinions, and we try to learn together about different subjects. So discussions 20% of your course grade. So basically self-test is 30%, discussions 20%, and midterms 50%. So let me talk about midterms now. Go back to the modules, right there. So the midterm is also multiple choice, and the first midterm is September 25th. So we have some time, and it's going to be covering this unity here subject. So a little bit about the sky, the moon, rotation, revolution, and so on, so on, so on, and then you have your midterm. Now, I will be proctoring this midterm and essay 115 on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, I think. But since this is a fully online course, you can do the midterm at home on Wednesday. You can choose 1 hour in Wednesday to do your midterm. So you can start 0 hours on Wednesday, which means midnight on Tuesday, right? Midterm opens, and then you go there and you're done. You have 1 hour to do. Or you can do at 11 p.m. on Wednesday, which I don't recommend because there is always some last moment thing that happened, right? So the midterm is done on that day. So you have 2 attempts. When you generate a second attempt, not necessarily you have the same questions, right? But that's it. You have 2 attempts. Now, if you miss the midterm, bye-bye. I mean, you miss, right? I don't have a makeup thing, which means if you can't do at home, or you can't meet with me on Wednesday, make sure you talk to me in advance so I can make some accommodation for you with the tutoring center. That's your only option, right? So then in the tutoring center, you might be able to do it, but you have to let me know, and I have to make arrangements with the tutoring center, right? So let me know about it. But it's supposed to be set so you can do at home. Now, how can you do at home? Well, to do at home, you must have a computer, you must have internet, and your computer must use Google Chrome as your main browser. Not only that, you gotta have a camera. So a Google Chrome as your main browser. So you cannot have Safari, Explorer, Mozilla. Has to have Google Chrome and a camera. And once you start the midterm, the camera will be activated. You have to show your student ID. You have to show your cheat sheet, the one that allows you to have a midterm, and you have 1 hour to do. You cannot leave the place you are because it's going to raise a flag, and your exam is going to be canceled. So you have to stay there the entire hour, camera on you. You cannot leave. You cannot call somebody or use your cell phone. It's all proctored. It's called Proctorio. The software is right here. So midterm 1. So those are the assessments. Midterms, 50%, self-tests, 30%, discussions, 20%, and chunks of midterms here and there. And the midterms are based on Stellarium, which is a software that allows you to display the nice sky. So I tell you how to download this software, and I have some questions that you are supposed to answer based on the subjects you see in night sky. You can do this extra credit in now our astronomy labs, but you have to contact Rick Francisco, which is our um, lab technician, and he will be there to open the lab and so on, so on, so on, assist you in what you need. We also have um, night viewing, and so when we do stargazings every month, we do have a sheet, um, class sheet students are supposed to fill, take to the observatory, and that gives some extra credit or something. Now, if you want to be an A student, make sure you get more than 90%, a B student more than 75%, a C student more than 60%, and the rest you really don't want to be it because um, D is a passing course in community college, but it's not transferable, and I think you want to transfer this class credit. So pretty much that's it. So how do I know that your orientation is done? So there are two things you can do. You can just upload, and I show you um, here. So if you go to modules, right here, mandatory orientation is complete. You click on it, and then it's not appearing now, but there will be a link here that enables you to upload um, some text, and then what you what you would type there is say, hey, I understand orientation. I know how to navigate in the course. I know that I need to do midterms and get 50% at least. I know that there are self-tests and they amount 30% at least, and I know there are discussions, and I will be the first one to post a discussion in the very beginning. I know I have more or less 2 weeks to complete the discussion, but I would do right in the very beginning, not at the very end and get a low grade and make my professor not angry but sad, 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 sad. So make sure you work on the goal. Remember, this astronomy course is not one of these courses, online courses that, okay, December's coming. Oh my goodness, I have to go shopping, and oops, I have to finish a course. And then you sit down and you run some numbers and you pass the course. Doesn't work that way. So you do need to complete assignments. Every week you have to do something. So if you let everything mumbo jumbo, it's gonna be tough on you. Okay, and I will be kind of communicating with you a lot to the point that you might sometimes block me, say, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I will be very much active and present in your every day in the course, right? So I will be reminding you about midterms. I will not remind you about self-tests closing because it's always on Monday. You have something going on. Okay? All right. Good luck.